The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Monday edition of Running Point. Starting the new week, it is the first day of May. So, everyone's going to be the NSYNC song, It's Gonna Be May. It's stuck in everyone's head all day. So, first day of May, Anthony Hartwig with you from Running Point. Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town is our presenting sponsor. Like always, we thank them for their constant support. They go the extra mile for you, so you don't have to. And what I'm going to do, like I always do, is I'm going to put Greenwood Chevrolet's logo in that top right corner so you never forget where to go if you are in the market for a new or used vehicle. There's no better place to go than Greenwood Chevrolet. They'll take care of you, and they have striven to go the extra mile for you since they've been around, and we thank them for their support of this show since day one. It's going to be a good show for you today. I'm excited because softball brackets are out. Softball seedings are out. The path to a state championship for these teams is finally underway. We know who they have to go through. We know what their brackets look like. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the seedings, how these votes turned out, all that fun stuff. And to be honest, the next couple of weeks and into the tournament, it's going to be a lot of tournament talk because Anthony is excited about the softball tournament. So, we're going to be, there's going to be plenty of tournament coverage. Today, we're just kind of going to glance at the brackets, kind of get our first look at them, but we will dive into brackets and tournament talk as the next week and the next 2 weeks kind of come about. A sectional start next week on the 8th. And then, in a couple of weeks, we're going to be talking about district championships, which is crazy to me. Today, we're not going to be talking about a lot of games. There have been a lot of games canceled already. We will get to our previews at the end of the show, and we'll, give them another hour to decide whether or not a game is canceled or not canceled, of course. Usually by 2 o'clock, if it's not going to be because of weather at the time of the game, if it's going to be because of field conditions or because of a forecast or anything like that, usually by 2 o'clock, most of these schools have made that decision so they can put it on arbiter, get it out to the umpires and the bus drivers as well. So hopefully by the end of the show, we'll have a really, really good idea of exactly what has been canceled and what has not been canceled. And also some bad news. I know a lot of teams have decided to cancel tomorrow as well because tomorrow not only is it supposed to rain, but it's supposed to be very cold tomorrow. I think the high might be in the low 40s for some areas, some of our Ysn areas, which means it could be in the 40, but it could be in that high 30s range, which is not fun. I mean, usually that benchmark for most teams is around 45, 44. Like if it gets below that, they really don't want to play. It starts to get kind of, I don't want to say dangerous. It doesn't get dangerous if it's above freezing, but it definitely is hindersome. Like it's almost to the point when the cold affects the play. I think that's the reason why a lot of teams have decided to just proactively cancel tomorrow as well. That you see, not every game tomorrow is canceled, but we've seen a lot of teams that say, hey, we're going to play these conference games on Thursday and Friday, hopefully get some non-conference games in on Wednesday and Thursday, Wednesday and Saturday. But we'll go over that at the end of the show, and we'll get you squared away as well. We do have an interview today as well. We're going to play an interview with Brett Channel, a senior from Champion Baseball that is going on to play not just one sport, but two sports in the next level with football and baseball. Can't wait to talk to you. Can't wait to hear you guys. Can't wait to see you. Can't wait to let you guys hear about that and hear about that conversation and what it's going to be like for him to be able to go and not just play one sport at the next level, but be a multiple sport athlete at the next level. It was a great conversation with one of the great leaders of that champion baseball team. A lot of seniors on that team. I went to basketball senior night and there were 8 on that team. And almost all of them were going to play at the next level at something, whether it be baseball or football or like Brett Channel, both. So he's going to be featured on today's show, and that will be probably towards the middle. So if you're watching for that, it'll probably be towards the middle of the show, like always. So it's going to be a great show. That's kind of the gist of it. Before we kind of dive into tournaments, I do want to go into the scores that came over through the weekend. We had a lot of fun with the softball on Saturday in the previous tournament. We also had some good baseball games get in as well. I know we sent a crew down to North Ridgeville and LaGrange. Ty Bartell, myself, Matt Marr, all got down there to see some really, really good softball from teams around the state. And what was scary is it wasn't even as good as it could be because there were multiple teams from a little bit further away that, signed up for that tournament, thought it was going to be a 2-day thing. Friday got rained out, so then they backed out of the Saturday because they felt like making that trip for just a 1 day and not having to stay overnight and play the next day. They just felt like it wasn't worth the time and the money that they would put into making that trip from further in the state of Ohio. So there were some teams that were supposed to be at this previous tournament that were just really, really good, but still great softball. Don't get me wrong. So we'll go into the scoreboard real quick. I'll put it up on the screen so you can see it. All right, now, and then I'll go full screen here. So here's the scoreboard. I just brought up Saturday. Before I talk about Saturday, though, I do want to just bring up the one game that I want to talk about on Friday. And there weren't a lot of Friday games. That's why I'm not going to bring up Friday's scoreboard. There weren't too many games that got in, but one that did, of course, on Fitch's turf was Champion and Fitch. We previewed that game out the wazoo. We brought Aaron Gabriel on the show to talk about the pitchers duel, what both pitchers do well. And when I'm watching it, one of the things I was thinking was, I bet all these offenses saw how much people were talking about these pitchers and got a little bit of that chip on their shoulder, like, hey, wait a minute, we're good bats, like we can swing. Because a lot of people thought this game between Champion and Fitch was going to be one of those 2-1, 1-0. Every score is just really hard to come by games, and both pitchers had a lot of great moments. They showed off, right? They got out of some jams, they got some big strikeouts. I think both pitchers proved that they were really, really good, and Sidney Watts and Gabby Gradishar. But both offenses also put together some success against these teams, and probably the best success that either one of those pitchers had seen a lineup get against them. Champion only scored 3 runs. It was 6-3 final score if you didn't see by Fitch got the win. But there was one inning early on where they had the bases loaded with less than 2 outs. I mean, that's a big opportunity that Sidney Watts was able to get out of. But there were a lot of base runners, a lot of traffic. Champion was able to get on base. Gabby Gradishar hit a 2-run home run. They took the 1-0 lead, the first time that anyone this year had led on Fitch. So it was a good game. But then, of course, on Fitch's side, they got the big hit, the game-defining hit that changed the tide, changed the momentum, and it came from the 8th spot in their lineup. Sophomore Tina Montgomery belts a grand slam right after they took they went down. Like, Champion scored 1 run, next half inning, Fitch loads the bases pretty good, and then all of a sudden, here comes Tina Montgomery, bang, grand slam, and it goes from a 2-1 game to a 6-1 game. It's a 6-run inning for Fitch right after they went behind 1-0. Very impressive. And then Champion started to come back a little bit, and they made it interesting with a 6-3. Like I said, Gabby Gradishar with then her 10th home run of the year, which made it 6-3, and that was the final score. Fitch gets the win over Champion. It was everything we thought it would be and more. Such an exciting softball game. A lot of really awesome plays were made in the field. The one that really stuck out to me, ball gets hit up the middle. It goes, I think it went off of Sidney Watts' glove, and Caitlin Mitchell and Ayla Ray are both kind of converging towards it. And Caitlin Mitchell is going to make the play, and then she's kind of, I want to say rolls. She goes to the ground, rolls to make the play. She's not going to be able to step on second. She kind of, her body went away from second. So what she does is just takes the ball and kind of football quarterback style hands it off to Ayla Ray, who's going towards second, and then she steps on second in time with the ball to get the out. It was an awesome play. And then, there were a couple of line drives caught by the hot corners. Um, really, really good defense that gets overshadowed by pitching and hitting. I wanted to kind of point out that defense was really good in this game as well. As we move on to Saturday, we got a lot more games getting on Saturday than we did on Friday. We'll start with the baseball scene. And you look, and one of the big ones there, and we talked about it on the Diamond Roundup show yesterday, Hubbard being able to go and beat Fitch. Hold on. They had a big lead early. It was 6-1. Fitch tried ever so hard to come back in the seventh, but the momentum just wasn't enough. And props to that, because when momentum turns in a sport like baseball, it is easy for the wheels to come off, especially at this level. So Hubbard was able to just, calm down and make that one last play to get a big win against Austintown Fitch. That's probably one of the biggest wins outside of the conference that Hubbard is going to get this year. Fitch is a very good baseball team, and that proves to Hubbard and everybody in Division II that they are not someone that should be messed with. South Range is able to go and beat Salem after losing the day before to Fitch. And these two results, South Range's game on Friday, Salem's game the Salem's last game before this, and then this one, are kind of proof of how fickle baseball can be. And both these teams have had games where their pitching has looked really good, and then a couple of games here and there when their pitching has failed them a little bit. Salem's pitching, 3-2 against Marlington in game 2 of that series, and then all of a sudden 12-2 against South Range. But that is pitching in regular season baseball. And I think we talked about this last week on this show. To get through a regular season in baseball unscathed or with a really, really good record, it does take a lot of depth in the pitching in your arms. It doesn't necessarily take that to make a tournament run. So I think a lot of these baseball records can be skewed by, you're having to go into your in your bullpen like 4 or 5 deep during a regular season week because you're trying to fit so many games in for baseball. But remember, when tournament time comes around, it's 1 game, 2 games, and then a long enough break that whoever pitched your 1 game can come back and pitch, your semifinal, your championship, semifinal, championship. So you really need 2 arms when you're starting pitching. And then obviously it would be great to have a third or a fourth to come in the bullpen and get some relief innings, close out close games, things like that are obviously amazing. And those teams that have that definitely have an advantage. But we've seen a lot of teams kind of go up and down during the regular season. But then when the tournament hits, it's their ace and 2, and that's a 1-2 punch, and they make a deep tournament run because of it. I mean, all you have to do is look at South Range's state championship baseball team, a losing record in the regular season, because after 1-2, their pitching was kind of hit and miss. And then all of a sudden, with the tournament, they just went Jake Gehring, Brooks, Gehring, Brooks, Gehring, Brooks, Gehring, Brooks. And it was just and that's all they kind of need to make that run. So you have 2 really, really good pitchers, and Salem definitely does. You can make a deep tournament run. It's just hard to navigate a long week of baseball. So I really don't pay too much attention to the ups and downs of a baseball regular season when I know they have 2 really good pitchers that can throw for tournament runs. When I'm talking about, trying to find out who's going to kind of make runs in tournament time. We go over to softball, and like I said, there were a lot of games going on in LaGrange and North Ridgeville. Champion was there. They got 2 wins, a walk-off over Whitmer in 8 innings, 8-7. Abigail Metters was the hero of this day. She had 3 RBIs in this first game, including the walk-off in the 8th, and then she pitched in the second game against Evergreen and held that offense to just 2 runs in an 8-2 win. She also had 3 RBIs in that game. So her day, she was 6 for 9 with 6 RBIs. Abigail Metters had a great time in North Ridgeville. Ursuline had 2 tough games in North Ridgeville against really good opponents. in Brecksville, Broadview Heights, who played Fitch in the regional semifinals last year in Division One, and then they also lost 17-2 later on in the day. Canfield had one game, and it was against Amherst Steel, who is the 10th ranked team in the AP polls in Division One, and Canfield was able to win this game, pretty sizable, 7-3. A big win for the Cardinals as they try to get momentum into this week, playing their AAC rivals Fitch, most likely for the AAC championship. South Range was able to get 2 games in. They were able to beat Bellevue 10-0, but then fall to Gahanna Lincoln 3-0. So South Range goes 1-1 in North Ridgeville. Hoban goes 1-1 as well, as they were on the losing end against Northview, but then they were able to come back and win later on in the day. Columbiana got the win in their one game. They're kind of a replacement for one of those teams that did not make the trip to North Ridgeville. They were invited. This is still an invite only, so Priebus and the directors reached out to Columbiana, asked them to replace. I believe they were replacing Allentangy Liberty that did not make the trip. So Columbiana came in, had one game against Evergreen, and it was an 8-2 win for them. Same score against Evergreen. The champion was 8-2, and that'll come into factor when we start talking about tournament time, because those two teams, spoiler alert, are in the same bracket. So a lot of people would probably kind of, because of the pedigree, say champion is the clear favorite in that matchup, but I would say not so fast, my friend, because Columbiana just proved that they kind of were the same scoring against the same team. So that would be a very interesting matchup if that goes on. It's a perfect segue to start talking about tournament time in the area. And what we're going to do is we're going to take off the scoreboard. We're going to share another screen, and I have the OHSA Northeast District website up for you guys, so we can kind of go through that and see what this looks like. Just a little, I guess, no, I don't want to say formative advice, but interesting tidbit about this Northeast District website. These will have the brackets before the OHSAA site. So if you're something like me, and you're really excited to see the brackets come out, a lot of people were like, hey, how do you find these? They're not on the OHSAA main site. So if you go to OHSAA.com and find softball there, because they're statewide, they don't put up all the brackets until they have all of them. But if you go to the district site, which is just ohsaa.org/northeast-sports, then you can find the district brackets on this website. And I bet they're up on the OHSAA site by now, but if you don't want to wait the day, like I did, I wanted these as soon as they came out yesterday. The district site is where you can go to find those. Before we go into the brackets, though, I want to kind of take a look at the voting results in the seeds. We'll start with Division One, and you can see the voting results come up on the screen. I'm not going to go over all of them because they're probably smaller than even people that are watching this can see. But you can go on there and find how every team voted and how how they decided to do this. But what I want to look at is the actual seeds here, and I'll read them off for you real quick. Austintown Fitch is the 1 seed. Green is the 2 seed. Chardon is the 3. Maslin Jackson 4. Riverside 5. Walsh Jesuit 6. Hoban is 7. We have Stone Monroe Falls at 8. Hoover is 9. Willoughby South, it had a really good turnaround season for them. They were one of the bottom seeds last year. They are 12-4 this year, and they are sitting at the 10 spot. East Lake North is 11. Maslin Perry is 12. Boardman is 13. Gilmore Academy, who jumped from Division 3 last year. We saw them in the district championship against South Range last year in Division 3. They jumped all the way to Division 1 this year. They are the 14 seed. Louisville is 15. Mentor is 16. Madison is 17. Ellett 18. Glen Oak 19. Uniontown Lake is 20. Solon is 22. Solon is 21, Maslin Washington is 22. Warren Harding is 23. Then we have Twinsburg at 24. Canton McKinley 25. Cuyahoga Falls 26, 27 is Nordonia. 28 is Brush. 29 Hudson. Deep breath. 30 is Lakeside. Cleveland JFK is 31. 32 is Mayfield, and 33 is Roosevelt. That's a lot of teams, and it's going to be the biggest super district that you see from RYS, from the divisions in Northeast. But when you look at this, obviously Fitch got the 1 seed. I think that was kind of a foregone conclusion that it was going to happen. Although Green putting together a very, very good season in 11-1. Remember, they played each other in the district championship last year in Austintown Fitch. But I'm looking at this seeding, and some of the teams that I'm looking at that are a little bit low that could make a lot of problems for some teams. Obviously, Hoban inside the family, sitting at 7. That's a team that can play with the number 1 seed very easily. We saw that in the 2 innings they were able to get in Austintown Fitch. It was just 1-0 Fitch. It was a pitcher's duel kind of brewing between Faith Porter and Sydney Watts. So Hoban as a 7 seed has definitely proven time and time again that they can compete with the best of the best in Division One. So we always talk about this in Division One, whether it be volleyball, basketball, softball. Unlike the other divisions, there is a lot of parity in the sense that you can see a 13 seed play well against a 1 seed or a 2 seed or a 3 seed. In fact, Boardman played really well against Austintown Fitch this year. So you really can't overlook teams in the 10 to 20 range in Division 3. One, because it's really the middle, unlike the other divisions. 20 is maybe near the bottom, but also because there is just a lot of widespread talent in Division 1. There are a lot of big teams that have bigger pools to get players from. So I mean, you'll look, and even up through, up to Warren Harding at 23, there are teams with 7 wins. I mean, if you have 7 wins in the season in Division 1, then you have the ability to go and beat people. So, you have 1 through 23 with it, that's the last team that has 7 wins, is what I'm trying to say. Last team that has at least 7 wins is Warren Harding. No one else below them has 7 or more. But there are some teams that have less than them above them. But the point I'm trying to make is, 7 wins at 23, that's a widespread pool of parity. And that's why Division 1 is just, it's a monster to get through. It's really hard to get just out of the district in Division 1. And there's going to be 3 brackets for the Northeast Division 1 district. So unlike the other ones where you just see them split into 2, in Division 1, you're going to see 3 different brackets that you'll have to navigate and get through. And with that being said, I'm going to go back and we're going to pull up the brackets and kind of go over them real quick for you here. These are just kind of overviews. We go to Division 1. You know what? I changed my mind. Let's just go over the seedings, and then we'll come back all the way to the bracket. So those were the Division 1 seedings. Let's look at Division 2 and see how they seeded in Division 2. Once again, if you want to, you can go look and see how every team voted and how they decided to put the teams where they go. Marlington gets the 1 seed in Division 2, and Canfield gets the 2. If I had to guess, it would probably just because Marlington has more games, and 17-1 probably looked a little bit better for some of the teams out of the area that do have to just vote based on record. So Marlington, a very good team, 17-1 gets the 1 seed. Canfield gets the 2 at 14-1. Aurora is the 3 seed. Field, who Boardman just beat not too long ago, is the 4 seed. We have Jefferson as the 5. Howland is the 6. Alliance 7. Edgewood 8. Ursuline 9. Harvey is 10. We have Notre Dame Cathedral Latin at 11. Hubbard is 12. West Branch 13. Girard 14. Crestwood 15. Geneva 16. Perry 17. Kenston 18. West Geauga 19. Youngstown East is 20. Conneaut is 21. Salem 22. Struthers, is 23. Ravenna 24. Cheney 25. And then Niles is 26. Niles. I wanted to just point out Niles 0-14 on this sheet, but after the records were turned in, Niles did get their first win of the season on Friday. So congratulations to the Dragons for getting their win and not having to end the season without a win, because you never want to see a team have to go through that. So as we go through these seeds, Marlington Canfield, I know a lot of YSN people are going to be mad about it because we want to see our YSN team sweep the number one seeds. And if it wasn't for Division 2, we would. We have the one seed in Division 3 and 4. There's a spoiler alert there for you. But Canfield is 2 in this one. Some of the teams that I'm looking at that are going to be kind of dangerous when you get into, not the obvious top 5. I really think Ysn, they're getting a lot of respect because of what they've done the last 2 years at 9. Their record is 7-7. They don't have maybe the firepower on offense that they did last year, but they still have the pitching in Barbado and Apollock. They have proven that they can get into pitchers' duels and they can win those games. And I think they're still very formidable. They've definitely had an up and down season. They've definitely had one of those kind of ones that, like I said in baseball, that you can't take all with a grain of salt. You have to take it with a grain of salt, I should say, because there are going to be ups and downs to softball. It's a very fickle sport. I think Ysn is a team that knows how to win in tournament time. They've been to 2 straight regional championships, albeit in Division 3, but they're gonna fight and scratch and claw to try to get back there because the last 2 games they've been in, they've lost by 1 run in heartbreaking fashion. So those players, those coaches are very hungry to get back to regional. So I would not underestimate Ysn sitting there at 9. Some other teams here, I think Girard is a sneaky team at 7-5. Emily Rosales is a very good pitcher. She can shut down lineups. And then they have some sneaky power in that lineup with Allie Wakefield, who can hit home runs, and Abby Rafferty, who also has power in there. Emily Rosales obviously is a good hitter as well as a pitcher. So, you see that, and I think Girard is a very dangerous team. They've had exposure to really good competition as well, playing in the 88, playing South Range twice. They will play South Range twice. They haven't played them yet, but they will play South Range twice before the end of the season. Played Hubbard twice, played Poland twice, play Lakeview twice, etc. Then they go out of conference and they go to Tennessee and play some really good competition down there as well. They played Hoban. So they've been exposed to very, very good softball, and they still come out with a winning record at the time of record being turned in. So Girard is a sneaky team down there. I think just with them, I think the 2 above them, West Branch and Hubbard, are also in that mix where they have the players to have a good day, can beat some teams. Hubbard has Phoebe Rusnak in the circle, but also freshman pitcher Haley Taylor that has really pitched well this year. She has a no-hitter to her credit. So I wouldn't sleep on Hubbard, and I wouldn't sleep on West Branch's offense because they still have some big-time hitters in their lineup that are very hard to contend with. They took Marlington to a 2-0 game. That's all you have to know. They really, really competed with the Dukes, who are sitting up there at the 1 seed. So I think those are some teams to really watch out for. If I'm thinking about teams outside of the YSN family that you might want to be aware of, Crestwood has a pedigree of being very, very successful as a softball team. They've been to state championship games. They played Poland, remember, in a couple of years ago in a regional final down there at Firestone Stadium. So Crestwood is a very prestigious and proud softball program. So I expect them to fight, tooth and nail and try to keep up that pedigree. Obviously, Aurora, not in the YSN family, but a very good softball team, plays a Division I type schedule, so that's why they have a couple of losses, but still range in that top 3. So you got to watch out for the Greenmen. And then obviously Alliance, I think, having a better year than a lot of people thought they would inside that EBC, and they're sitting at a 7 seed, and that can be a dangerous spot for teams. 7 is that, one where they're not in the top 5, so maybe they're a little bit overlooked, but they're still in the top 10. That can be pretty dangerous. Alliance can be a dangerous team indeed. So those are some teams outside of the top 5 that I think have a really kind of a chance to make some waves in their district tournament this year. We'll go in and we'll start in Division 3. We'll go into their if I can find my mouse. There it is. And we'll go into their seedings right here. So we pop into Division 3, we go to East, and here's how Division 3 lines up. YSN has 1 and 2. No shocker, South Range and champion. Voted 1 and 2. Columbiana 3, Poland 4. So YSN is owners of the top 4 teams. And then top 5 teams, because Brookfield actually moved up to Division 3 this year. They were Division 4 the last 2 years and fell to Matthews both times in the district championship game. Lakeview is 5, and then the first non-YSN team, you have to go all the way down to 7 in Wycliffe. Rootstown, who is a very good team, especially in the circle, sitting there at 8, Pymatuning Valley 9, United 10, LeBray is 11, Garfield is 12, Canton South is 13, Crestview is 14, Southeast 15, Beechwood 16, Mooney is 17. Not a lot of games in for Mooney. 7 games when they had to report their record. I think Cam Memorial is a lot better than a 18 seed. They're down there at 18. That they can be a force to be reckoned with. Liberty is 19. 19. Then we have Berkshire 20, Lake Catholic at 21, Kirtland at 22, and Grand Valley at 23. I would say what YSN teams to watch out for, but this Division 3 is just YSN loaded. I think the one non-YSN team you gotta keep an eye on is that one sitting there at 8 in Rootstown. Very, very good pitching in Rootstown. They haven't had a lot of offense this year to help her out, but the pitching is very good. I would have ranked Rootstown above Wycliffe, and I don't think it would have been that close. I know the record is 10-4 compared to 11-1, but if anyone that knows softball and knows Rootstown knows that they have very dominant arms in the circle, and I would put them over Wycliffe as a 7. I don't know if I'd put them as high as over Lakeview or Brookfield, but definitely I would put them at 7. They're a little bit underrated. This Division 3, and when you look at not just this district, but the region as well, the teams that you're going to see when you win this district that have moved from Division 2 to Division 3, it's a gauntlet. South Range champion Columbiana in this district, top 3 seeds. That's all you need to know there. But then Poland's there, Brookfield there, Lakeview. I mean, all of those 6 teams can beat each other, in my personal opinion. I mean, Brookfield has the power, the offense, and then Miranda Nicholson in the circle. But I mean, Abby DeJoy leading YSN in home runs with 12. Lakeview's got a little bit of mix of both. They have speed on offense. They have some power with Caruso and Pavlansky. They have good pitching in Ella Chadwick. Obviously, Poland has a Division I pitcher in Cleveland State, going to Cleveland State with Katie McDonald. Man, that's just the top 6 all have a chance to win a district championship in this division. But then you go even further down. I mean, you look at United, who has Tori Firth, who got to a district tournament last year. They're hungry. They're good in the circle. LeBray has Riley McDonough, who's hard to pitch to. Garfield has good pitching and good hitting. A great leadoff hitter in Hahn, who might be one of the best slappers in the YSN network. Talent is just everywhere in Division 3. And then you can't even talk about the region that has Tuslaw in it, and it's going to have Triway in it. It's going to have Keystone in Division 3 now. And then one of the best teams in the entire state of Ohio across any division in Wheelersburg is sitting there, not in our region, but they're, if everything goes the way everyone thinks it will, Wheelersburg is going to be in the state tournament. So Division 3 is it's a monster. If you get to Firestone Stadium, you absolutely earned it. There's no easy path to, not even just a regional, no easy path to a district. Like you see in some districts, it's just like one team is clearly better, and they're gonna just run their way through the district. There's not that. It's not that in Division 3, not even close. Like I said, I think the top 6 you can say have a legitimate stake in winning a district championship. I wouldn't be surprised if any of those 6 teams did. In fact, you look at them. South Range was obviously won last year. Columbiana and Champion are the only 2 that weren't in district championships last year, if I'm not mistaken. Because Poland went to a district championship against Canfield in Division 2. Brookfield went to a district championship against Matthews in Division 4. So I think out of those 5, actually Champion, Columbiana, and Lakeview were not in a district championship last year, but South Range and Poland and Brookfield all were. Um, and then Champion, even though they weren't in the district championship last year, they've won 6 state championships, been 9. They know how to win in tournament time. Lakeview has already beaten Poland, so they've proven that they can do it. And it's crazy. It's crazy. It's going to be a crazy tournament in Division 3. I am so excited for it as we look at these teams one more time. And then we'll go real quick and get into Division 4. Because we have to get to Brett Channel's interview after we get to Division 4. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on D4, but we have all week to kind of break down this stuff more and more. So we go into Division 4. We look at Division 4, and Western Reserve is the 1 seed. They are undefeated right now, still undefeated, 13-0. A very good, surprising shocker team. In my opinion, it came out of nowhere. I didn't know they were as good as they were. Is the 2 seed. McDonald is 3, Springfield 4, Jackson Milton 5, Matthews 6, Southern is 7, Badger 8, Mineral Ridge might be a little underseeded at 9. Lordstown is 10. They came out of nowhere to have a pretty decent season for the Red Devils. Lisbon is 11, Waterloo is 12, Maplewood 13, East Palestine is 14, John F. Kidney is 15, and then you have Cardinal at 16, Wyndham at 17, East Canton at 18, Wellsville at 19, Lowville at 20, St. John at 21, Sebring at 22, Bristol at 23, and then Newton Falls down there at 24 for softball. Real quick, I think the one non-YSN team, obviously Chalker in the 2, but I think Matthews is definitely one that you have to watch for. If you know anything about Division 4 softball, you know no matter what kind of season Matthews is having, they know how to win district championships. They know how to win regional championships. That program has been in state many, many times. And like I said, I think Mineral Ridge is a little bit underseeded as far as their talent goes. They have good arms in the circle with Lily Marilillo, Maddie Wylonen. They have good bats in the lineup. They can really hit the ball. They got into a slugfest with Jackson Milton this week, and I think they could have beaten Jackson Milton, who's sitting up there a handful of spots above them at 5. So Mineral Ridge got to be careful of as well, and that is Division 4. Like I said, we're going to have a lot more time to talk about districts and talk about these seedings and what the matchups look like as we go on through the week. I don't think we're going to have a lot of games to talk about tomorrow, so we'll probably dedicate a little bit more time tomorrow to talking about tournament time even more. And like I said, I'm a fanatic for softball, so you're going to hear me talk about the tournament a lot. But for now, we do have an interview to get to, and I am not going to overtalk, and I'm not going to take away the interview section of the show. So we have Brett Channel from Champion. Let's hear from him, and then we'll come back and we'll preview what's going on tonight and what cancellations are happening, what cancellations aren't happening. So here's Brett Channel, senior baseball player from Champion. Anthony Hartwig here with a Champion baseball player profile. I'm joined by one of their many, many seniors in Brett Channel. Brett, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Yep, thank you for having me on.
This baseball team, just like the boys basketball team, is stocked, loaded with seniors and senior leadership. So my first question to you is, what's it like being part of such a big group that is obviously playing together for so long and you have such a strong connection with?
It's exciting because we all get to experience, us winning together, and we've grown up together. So that experience playing together helps.
How much does this team, do you think, lean on the leadership? Obviously, with a lot of seniors, there's also a lot of leadership on the team. What's that like to see so much leadership kind of be on this squad?
It helps, I'd say, in the tournament, whenever we get them big games against South Range, leaning on each other to play. It helps.
I was at your senior night for basketball. One of the things that I really enjoyed listening to was almost every senior was going to college for some kind of sport at the next level, whether it be baseball. I know you're signed on for football. Um, what's it like to like look around and see all your friends and all your senior classmates have literal dreams come true, where almost all of them are signing on to go play somewhere after they graduate, whether it be baseball, football, whatever sport it may be?
It's exciting to see everybody fulfill their dreams and play the next level. And I hope that the younger kids in Champion are watching to show that they can do the same thing.
Let's talk about your decision. Obviously, you announced it not too long ago that you'll be playing at the next level for football. Don't want to take that moment away from you. For those people that maybe don't know or weren't following you on social media, where have you decided to go and play the next 4 years?
Teal College.
And what was it about that decision that made it easy? Like, what made Teal somewhere that you really wanted to be?
I love the coaching staff. DJK, he's from Youngstown. He played at Iowa. Then you got Coach Perry. He's from Niles. He played at West Virginia. So I love the experience, and it's like home away from home.
When you think about, the next step, and obviously after you graduate, you're going to be going and living away from home. What kind of things make you kind of nervous about leaving the nest and having to be kind of on your own down on campus?
I'd say it's a lot of responsibility. Nobody's telling you to go to classes. You got to wake up on your own and do it, as opposed to at home where your parents are telling you to go.
What is one life skill, or maybe something that you're going to have to do now that your parents do for you while you're home, that you're really going to have to learn how to do before you get down there to college?
I'd say probably manage my time, because I don't know, you just got to stay focused. You can't be messing around.
And you talk about managing your time. Obviously, you're a multiple sport athlete playing football, basketball, and baseball. What's it like going through a school year like that, where your time is so eaten up and you're never really not busy, and you're constantly going from one mindset to the other? What's that been like for you?
I think it's been fun, because each sport, it shows you something different. With baseball, you got to stay patient, and it's been exciting, I think.
With baseball this season, with you guys and every team, there's always ups and downs. Baseball is a sport that's built to make you ride a roller coaster a little bit. Even the best hitters, fail 6 out of 10 times. How do you mentally deal with the ups and downs that baseball brings?
Oh, that was the hardest part for me going into high school, was trying to, stay happy when I'm striking out or grounding out most of the time. But it just builds character, and you adjust to it over time.
So as you said, that was the hardest thing for you to kind of grasp when you came into high school. What were some things that helped you get there, help you get to a point when you could not accept that you struck out, but not make it, put you in the mental gutter when something didn't go your way?
Yeah, I think that was the upperclassmen for me. Telling me that you'll get another at bat, or go make it up in the field, because you can't get that at bat, or you can't get that at bat back.
I like that you brought up upperclassmen from the past, because as much as we talk about the leadership on the team right now with all these seniors, we have to also talk about all the seniors before that taught all you guys how to lead. How much do you feel the legacy and the footprints of the seniors that came before you guys in years past?
Oh, their footprint, it's huge for us, because you got great seniors like Nate Holt and Jack O'Shaughnessy. They taught us how to grow up and be men last year, because last year, a lot of the kids, it was their first year playing varsity, and we're playing South Range and Ursuline and all these big schools. So it was big for us to play with them.
What do you think was the biggest lesson they taught you that you take into your own leadership now that you're a senior?
I'd say just take it one day at a time. Like, we hear all the hype of, this team from Champion could play in state and they could win state, or they're one of the best teams in the area, but you just take it one day at a time, and we'll get there eventually.
We've gotten to talk to so many champion athletes, and the thing that we take away is the standard of excellence that comes out of champion. I mean, the baseball team's one state, basketball team in years past has done so much, and now football team, you're starting to really build stuff on the football program. There's just this standard of excellence in the athletics room at champion. What's it like to look around and see all the athletes that come through this school, whether it be on the boys' side or the girls' side, have this unbelievable standard of like success and accomplishment?
Yeah, it's exciting to see Champion continue to grow from when I was a kid and to when I came back. And we see great athletes come out of here all the time, like Allison Smith, Michael Turner, Megan Turner. The list goes on, but it's exciting.
When you think of what the tradition of champion is like if you had to define to someone what it means to be a flash in this athletics room, how would you describe it?
That's a good question. I'd say hard work, because that's what they preach in basketball. You're diving on the floor after loose balls. You're playing defense. In football, you obviously got to work hard. It's self-explanatory.
The athletes that we've talked to from champion have also talked about how excited they were when they were young to be a part of champion, and how much the school system pours into its youth. When you were growing up, did you feel that? Did you watch these athletes of the past while you were growing up and just really want to be where they were while you were watching them?
Oh yeah, my brother was a senior in 2017 when they won state. So it was so exciting going to watch them and watching the greats before play basketball and play football. I couldn't wait.
Going through all that as a kid and looking up to those players as role models, now you're in that position where little kids and people of champions future are looking at you. What's that like for that moment where you're like, I used to be that kid, and now kids that age are looking up to me? What's that been like for you?
It's been super cool, just at halftime going into the locker room for football and seeing all the kids, giving them high fives or talking to them for a minute before I got to go into the locker room. It's been cool.
If someone watching you wants to be where you're at, wants to get to where you're at is the varsity level and all these sports, what advice do you give them if they ask it?
I just tell them to work hard, and just to stay disciplined. You can't get into all the distractions. You just got to keep your head down and keep working.
You talked about your family success. Your brother was on the state championship team. Obviously, with that comes a lot of advice that you've probably gotten from your family throughout your career. What kind of things have they done to help build you into the player that you are now?
They kept me on the right path. They got me into sports at a young age. I started football my junior year, but I had family members to help me with football and just keep me there.
I want to talk about that because you didn't start football until your junior year, but here you are playing it at the next level. That's an amazing growth path, right? Because a lot of people, you start it young and you build yourself. You have
Yeah.
so many years to build to that level, but you kind of hit the ground running. What were the major factors in finding such quick success for football and on the football side of things?
I mean, this is kind of weird, but I always love watching film. Like I used to watch Justin Jefferson at LSU or Deontay Johnson, just watch them run routes. And then Coach Conrad just saw me one day and he asked me if I wanted to play football, and I just took the opportunity.
When you were watching all those receivers run routes, which one do you think you kind of fit the mold into the most?
Um, I think I try to run my routes like Justin Jefferson, I'd say, because we have similar builds like in height, so I feel like our games translate a little bit.
Yeah, he wore a lot of purple, just like you too. So I mean,
Yeah,
it's good. It's a nice little correlation there.
yeah.
When you
They
think
used to call me Justin Jefferson because my practice jersey was 18, so they used to call me that.
not a bad guy to be compared to. When you
Yeah.
think of obviously playing at the next level, we talked about seeing your teammates' dreams come true. This had to be a dream for you. When did you realize I could play football at the next level, since you started your junior year, which is where usually players are making their final decisions? When did you start to realize this is obtainable and I can go after playing football at the next level?
I think Coach DJK texted me about week 5 of this year, and that's when we started recruiting. That's when he started recruiting me, and I was like, "Doesn't sound like I have bad ideas, so I'll take him up on the offer."
What was what was that like to? Was any idea of playing football in college in your mind before that, or was it kind of like a shock to say, hey, this college coach might like want me to come on their team?
Yeah, I mean, I sent out some emails to coaches, but I wasn't too serious on it because I just had started my junior year. But then when I found out about DJK, I was like, I trust him. He's played in the big games at Iowa. He was the leading receiver at his time of graduation, so I trust him.
Now that we're back and talking about baseball, because it is baseball season, obviously you love this sport as well, and you put so much of time into it. What made you fall in love with baseball?
I started playing in my front yard when I was about 5 years old, maybe, and I've never put down the glove since. It's just been a great time.
If football didn't come about your junior year, do you think you would have been pursuing a college career in baseball?
Well, I will be playing college baseball at TL too.
Oh, you're gonna do both
Yeah,
sports at once. Wow. Okay. Let's talk about that because that's hard to do in high school. It's even
yeah.
harder to do in college. What are your expectations about being able to be a multiple sport athlete down there at Teal?
I hope to, obviously do well in the classroom, but hope to stay focused and just communicate with my coaches, both of them, so that we're all on the same page.
In the classroom, what kind of things do you want to study? I mean, obviously, Teal having your major and Teal having routes to your career was also a factor in you deciding to go there. So, what kind of things do you want to study? What kind of career path do you see yourself in after college?
I want to study business management.
What made you kind of want to go into that? Was there any like kind of life experience, or was there any kind of thing that said like, "Hey, I want to be a business manager"?
Yeah, so my dad, he owns a house flipping company, and I've been working on that for a couple of years now, and I just found a passion with it.
When you get into that career, do you think you'd want to kind of get into that business, or is there some other kind of venture of a business that you think you'd like to throw your hat into the ring into?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always down for any new opportunities that I see. That's where I'd start, but if I seen anything else, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
If someone came to you and said, "Hey, like we're gonna give you X amount of capital, you come up with a business, and you kind of say like you pick something you think the world needs, or you think like is it marketed well, what kind of things would you think, okay, I can really make a business around this?
Mm, I'm not too sure. Um, I don't know. It'd probably be. I'm a big boxing and UFC guy, so it'd probably be on their
That's,
mental health.
that's a great place to be. I think there's definitely avenues for that. Before we let you go, one of the things I want to ask, since you are a senior, you'll be graduating, and we want to get a little bit reflective before you go. What kind of things are you going to miss the most about being in the champion school system and being a part of these athletic teams and being a part of these programs?
I'm gonna miss the support that the community gives us because every Friday for the games they're out there, or for the basketball games they're out there supporting. And I'm gonna miss inspiring the young kids that are coming up and trying to do what we've accomplished in the baseball realm and all that. So that's what I'm gonna miss the most.
All right, Brett, before we let you go, I want to give you the chance to thank your support system, all the people that are in your corner that have been there for you throughout your career, and the people you wouldn't be where you are without.
Yeah, I'd like to thank all my coaches who have coached me from a young age, and my family for the continuous support. And I'd like to thank Carter Paul too, because he would want me to throw that in there.
Got
Yeah.
to give the people their flowers, Brett. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We wish you the best of luck this baseball season, and definitely in your future endeavors at Teal. We will be rooting for you, and we can't wait to talk to you again real soon.
Thank you.
Brett Channel, future Teal baseball and football player, and it was great to get a chance to talk with him. If you're looking for that, you missed it, and you missed a part of it. You want to see it in its entirety. Don't worry, very very soon it will be up on the website as its own piece of content. But you can also find it on YouTube when it goes up. You can also rewatch this show in any of our episodes of any shows, whether it be the Diamond Roundup, the Power Hour, or Running Point, on our YouTube page as well. If you're over there, if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're rewatching this on YouTube, if you would like to, please hit that subscribe button. We'd love to have subscribers, and that always helps out our channel brand and helps our channel grow. If you're subscribed, hit the like and comment so we have good views in the algorithm there. Likes and comments help the YouTube algorithm get us out there. And then, of course, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the video content that we put up on our YouTube page. The YouTube algorithm, it can be kind of wonky. You never want to miss a minute of the video content that we put up on our channel, whether that be our shows, Running Point, Diamond Roundup, Power Hour, or our post-game interviews, player profiles, coaches' corners, game highlights, a lot more fun stuff that you can find on our YouTube page. Make sure to check that out and hit subscribe if you want to. And then also, if you're going to hit subscribe, hit that notification bell so you never miss a minute of our video content. Today, unfortunately, it looks like there's a lot of red on our spreadsheet. I'm going to go over the games that have been canceled. We'll start with baseball. Canceled today. We have Bristol at Wyndham has been canceled. Canfield at Fitch has been canceled. Carrollton at Beaver Local has been canceled. Chalker at Pymatuning Valley canceled. Crestview at Champion canceled. Garfield at Brookfield has been canceled. Howland at Boardman canceled. We have Hubbard at Lakeview canceled. Jefferson at Niles also canceled. Lakeview at Liberty has been canceled. Lake Center Christian at Warren JFK canceled. McDonald at Middle Ridge has been canceled. Newton Falls at Camel canceled. Poland at Girard has been canceled. Sebring at Louisville, Scene 1, canceled. South Range at Struthers on Scene 3, canceled as well. Springfield at Western Reserve has been canceled. And Cheney at Mooney has been canceled as well. We go on to softball. Here are the games that are canceled. Lisbon at Southern has been canceled. South Range at Struthers has been canceled. Fitch at Canfield has been canceled. Bristol at Wyndham has been canceled. Chalker at Pymatuning Valley is canceled. Crestview at Champion canceled. Garfield at Brookfield canceled. Howland at Boardman canceled. Hubbard at Lakeview canceled. Also Jefferson at Niles canceled. LeBray at Liberty has been canceled as well. So has Latonia at East. McDonald at Middle Ridge has been canceled. Newton Falls at Camel has been canceled. Poland at Girard is canceled. Salem at United has been canceled. Sebring at Lowville canceled. Waterloo at Jackson Milton canceled. West Branch at Louisville canceled. Jefferson at Niles, it was supposed to be a doubleheader. That canceled as well. Springfield at Western Reserve has been canceled. Here are the games of baseball that, as of now, still happening. We will have one game on the network. So far, East Palestine and Columbiana is holding on, and Joe Sebia will be there if it happens. Dover at Louisville right now has been greenlit, and Rob Roberts will be there. Latonia at East is still on as of now, and so is Lisbon at Southern as of now, still on. For softball, there are only two games that are even happening. East Liverpool Christian, threw me off. At East Liverpool is still happening at 4:30. Also at 4:30, on as of now, Lakeside at Edgewood, not canceled yet. So a lot of red, a lot of games canceled today. What can you do? We're going to try to get us a baseball game on the network if we can in Columbiana. But we'll keep you updated on that. Head over to ysnlive.com/live at game time to see if any of those games is able to be covered, of course. And, we'll pack it up. We'll try again tomorrow. See what games hold on for tomorrow. It's supposed to be colder and rain tomorrow as well. You look at the Storm Tracker 21 app. The forecast is not looking good this week. It might be the worst weather week that we've had all season. As far as not just rain, but also it's getting kind of cold. Like tomorrow, like I said, the high is the low 40s. So not a good look for baseball and softball. But we're gonna try. We're gonna pack our bags up tonight And then we will get back at it tomorrow. If there are games to be had, we will definitely be out there and covering them. We bundle up so you don't have to. That was my phrase last year when I was out in the cold. So that'll do it for today's show. Tomorrow we're going to have a great show as well. We're going to talk more about tournament time. We're going to have Brooke Tater. Her interview will be played on the show as well. So we'll have an interview for tomorrow. And we'll also try to preview what games are happening tomorrow. And we'll see what goes on between now and then. Thank you so much for tuning in today to Running Point. Brought to you as always by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. We'll see you tomorrow